Welcome to today's town hall with ACF National President Kimberly Brock Brown. Thank you to those of you that submitted your questions in advance. We have received quite a few and will make every attempt to get to all of them tonight. Chef, I'd like to turn it over to you at this time.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evenings to be on this call. I appreciate it, and I'm sure your membership will appreciate you disseminating the information to them as well. So welcome. This year, we've suffered a lot of losses. A lot of members and families have gone through some loss of loved ones, of colleagues, that were near and dear to our hearts. So just for a few moments, I'd just like to take a moment of silence to remember those who have gone on before us and reflect on the lives that we have now. So just bear with me for a moment and just reflect for a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. And in this year of the holiday season that we are into, I want to also remember that this is also the time of the year that a lot of people are contemplating and going through a lot of stress. And so remember on our website, and remember also, please, the number 988 to call for anything that is mental health related, crisis related, suicide prevention. That 988 number and other links will be on our website under the resource page. And also our board members will have that information for you as well. So please, if you see something, say something. If you see a member who seems a little bit down and out, please talk to them, get them the help that they might need, and just reach out and let's make it all through to next year. So tonight, I will give a recap on the accomplishments of all this year that we've come through and a preview about what's happening for next year. There'll be a Q&A session at the end and some of the questions that we have received in advance. Overall, we are in a growth mode in a really positive place. We focused on the details and we've paid attention to our membership and the industry and have made progress and improvements in all areas of our federation. The membership growth has been reversed from the numbers that have been declining over the past 2 years. Isn't that great? We will finish 2022 with more members than last year. Just this year alone, to date, we have a 12% growth. 12%. Chapters and local level support. We continue to support our chapters and have seen an increase in chapter compliance. This year, 2022, we've gone from 63% to a whopping 76% chapter compliance. There's room for improvement. We will be getting better, but it's a work in progress. And that's positive. That's a step forward. So we encourage you to seek your leadership activity level in your local chapters and to help make the chapters grow. ACF National is nothing without our local chapters. And we want your participation and we want you to succeed on a local level. It affects all. It's like the groundswell, the bubble up. What you do there affects us all. So please, be active, get involved. Chapter Supporting Chapters Workshop, January 26th is the next meeting. Chef Dina has the information and also newsletters that have been sent out by email. So please, you want to support your chapter, you want to be in the know, be on that call. Brand awareness, increased brand awareness through our social media. It has just blown up. It's just poof, right? So our July 2022, our posts have been seen by more than 1.7 million people on Facebook, 1.7 million times on Facebook, due to our live promotions of our national convention, compared to about 56,000 July of 2021. That's a significant increase. So our social media is working, and the more we post content and information about what's going on, the more it goes up, the better it gets. You've seen our posts go from up to 145,000 plus on our Instagram, on our IG accounts, compared to 25,000 July of 2021. People are paying attention. We are growing leaps and bounds. Social media does matter. People are paying attention to us. Our post on LinkedIn was seen about 137 times compared to 70,000 of July of this time, 2021. So we continue to show higher impressions or posts or people looking at it and liking it. Our numbers are growing bigger and better over the years before. So our social media platforms are where we are expanding upon and where we could see our membership and our members going to, from our Young Chefs Club to local chapters doing things and posting what's happening with them, from the certifications, from the India parties to the community service. It's working, it's helping getting our word and our message, our brand out there. So thank you for that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have added an official DEI statement to our website next to our mission statement. I encourage you to read it if you haven't read it already, and really take it to heart and live it every day. The task force has focused on defining the scope of the issue and identifying ways to address it. So make a point to recruit members in your area, be a mentor. ACF can be a role model in this industry. There is diversity, inclusion, and belonging courses on our online learning center, and it's free. So everybody can afford it, can watch it at their leisure, and it can help with the membership growth and retention that we so desperately are looking for. If you have experienced any kind of discrimination or have any kinds of questions, please email our ethics committee. The contact information and guidelines for filing a complaint are on the website. And our professional development, monthly ACF Chefs Forum webinars. Our Mastercraft series continues. Advanced culinary and advanced pastry that we did earlier this year in March and May were very successful. We had about 70 people on average. It was small, but so personable for all the people who were sitting in the audience. I personally attended the pastry one in Dallas, and it was excellent. I can't wait for us to start them again next year. The culinary leadership boot camp, we will do it again sometime next year as well. So get ready for that. I believe we did it this year. It was once a week online. So next year, maybe we'll be doing it in person. Stay tuned. More planned of our Mastercraft series for 2023 will be the advanced culinary, advanced pastry, cannabis, our culinary educator will be held just before the convention, culinary medicine, and plant forward. I'm really excited about these, especially the plant forward. We've got some competitions that are on the worldwide stage with our World Chefs organization. And so get ready to expand upon our plant forward cuisine. It's not a trend anymore, it's just here to stay. And so all the competitions that I've seen in my travels this year and going forward, plant forward, sustainability, we need to get ready. We need to be ready. We need to be in the leadership of that. Our certification, 53% in the initial certifications. That is huge. 5% renewals are growing, which means continued interest. ACF is still relevant, has always been relevant, and this just kind of proves the point. The increase is there. More practical exams are being held, which also adds to the increase with 53%. Our employers are seeing the value of our certification, and they are asking and requesting and requiring that some of their members, their employees, become certified. I had the experience years ago, and so it's happening again. It continues, so certification matters. Get yours. Accreditation, it remains steady. The interest in secondary high schools, the levels are up. I know there are some states that have mandated that their high school level schools become accredited, and ACF is there in the forward leading the way with that. Interest is due to increasing requirements. And so we are connecting the high school level students with our accreditation program and hopefully leading them into the fold of ACF membership. ACF has been heavily involved with working with these programs, which leads us into apprenticeship, something near and dear to my heart. Our growth in apprenticeship programs, 14 programs have been added in this year of 2022, which makes it 70 so total. So this apprentice graduate from back in the 80s, so many years ago, is happy to see that our apprenticeship program is alive and thriving. It is something that is relevant. It is something that is so easy to do as far as affordability. And at this point in time, in this day and age, when people are looking for jobs and looking for ways to make money, it's just a win-win. It kind of covers all the bases. All of our programs and locations are listed on our ACF website. So if you're interested in who has an apprenticeship program, where it would be, please check the website out. Our national convention that we held last year or earlier this year in Las Vegas was a very, very, very huge success. We had over 700 attendees come to Las Vegas, 70 plus trade show sponsors, which was great. world-class diverse speakers from last year and more are already in the works for this year coming up, which when we go to New Orleans, NOLA, here we come, the heat. And so I hope you guys can plan to attend. I look forward to seeing you all there in New Orleans with the same, as far as the diversity of the speakers, the diversity of the topics, and of course, the lovely hosting of the city of New Orleans. It should be a great time. Looking ahead also for 2023, we're going to be focusing more on our future, on our students, on our membership, and on our programs. Our students are our key. It's our growth. The membership is part of that whole situation too. You can't have membership growing if you don't have students. So all these students that are coming in through secondary and post-secondary classes and students, we have to find ways to attract them, maintain them, and make them more relevant in our association to grow. It's a problem or issue that I've talked to with our World Chefs executive director when I was in Luxembourg with him last week. He is doing the same thing. World Chefs is also going to different culinary programs and trying to retain and attract students. So it's an issue worldwide, but it's one that's easy to solve. It's a matter of talking to our students and figuring out what they want so we can get them into the fold. They need to be made aware. So our programs are relevant, our students are relevant, and our membership will grow. The future doesn't just happen. It's something that we have to create, and we're working on creating it. Alan, it's time for our question and answer session.
Thank you, Chef. And we have a few. So the first question, should the ACF recognize corporate chefs as an accredited position? I'm not sure that chef administrator is enough. Corporate chefs do a great deal for the industry, and I think that the ACF recognizes them in an accreditation may be easier to find more sponsors to get involved in contributing to events. Recently, I participated at the International Food Service Editorial Council Conference in Santa Barbara, California. There were a dozen corporate chefs like myself who prepared meals and participated in presentations at the event. Some of them had the ACF logo on their jackets, and most of the ones I spoke to rarely are involved with the ACF. This means that the companies they work for are not involved in the ACF.
Okay, so I think I heard a few things in that question. Do we need accreditation for corporate chefs? So I think accreditation is the wrong word. I think it should be, you're asking about certification, because we don't accreditate people, we accreditate institutions. And so if it's certification for a corporate chef, I've been a corporate chef twice. And I know corporate chefs in each job that I've had, it's been different duties. Most times I'm handling and dealing with people underneath me on the regional and the local level. And some chefs don't do that. I understand that in the corporate position, but each one is so different. I don't think there can be one certification for a corporate chef that would exist to match all the duties that a corporate chef does, because the duties are so different. I think the answer might well be to look at the requirements for the CEC and maybe incorporate what a corporate chef might do, either one or the other. I don't think we need another certification. I think we have enough as it is.
Okay, thank you, Chef. And I want to remind the audience that if you do want to submit another question, there is a Q&A function at the bottom of your window that you can use. Second question, Chef. Will free student memberships become available? We as chapter NY 051 will soon be moving some of our education scholarship dollar budget towards active student membership.
Well, congratulations on being able to afford free membership for your students in your chapter. That's awesome. I wish more chapters could do that. That would kind of solve that whole situation if chapters picked up the support of their members, of their student members. I don't see on the horizon that we give free memberships out on a regular basis, permanent basis for any level of membership. Our ACF is a member-driven organization. So to eliminate some of that means we have to cut somewhere or raise funds someplace else. So I just think eliminating the membership fee for the student level on our national level is not the answer. But if your chapter can afford to do it through your scholarships and fundraising, kudos, more power to you. I welcome that idea a lot. That'd be great because that means you're engaged and you care a lot more about your students on a local level. Next.
Thank you, Chef.
Mhm.
Question 3, Chef Brock Brown, how are ACF members better off today than they were when you took office? Please be specific. Thank you.
Better off today. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the management of ACF and the management of the things that we have done. Some things are not tangible, but you can't really put your hands on it, but you can see it. You know, when I've traveled and I've had my passport stamped about 6 times this year, and then let alone the domestic part, it's the camaraderie, and it's the people coming up and saying, you know, I joined ACF because of you. I joined ACF because I see that there's changes coming because they've elected a female or a person of color to lead the way. So being the face of ACF as the president, I have heard a lot of conversations about I joined, I want to be a part of, or because ACF is going forward 21st century and not doing the same old, the good old boys club is not seemingly evident to them. They see changes instead of stagnation. And so I think that's been the biggest part of it. The growth, the being forward, being leadership. You know, we have a female for the first time running for international president of World Chefs. They're 95 years old. They're a year older than we are. Um, I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but it opens the door for other women and people of color to seek management positions, to seek leadership positions in our organization. And I do believe if you can see it, you can achieve it. And if you don't ever see it, it's kind of hard to be that way. So I think just having the opportunity to look at somebody else who's different, as our kitchens are different, our kitchens are diverse for the most part, with women, men, people of color, LGBTQ, it does not matter. You know, if you see people in position that look like you or who are doing what you want to do, you're more apt to go for it yourself. And I think that's been the biggest hands-on thing that I can say. My management style has always been more of inclusion. I like to have the ideas come to me and then make the decision best for whatever it is going to happen. And I think that instead of dictating to somebody what I want them to do, I think I like to ask. I want everybody to bring their A game to the table, because my background and my experiences are different than your background and your experience. But when you get them all together, I think that just says so much more. You just get more ideas from the diversity of everybody at the table because you've talked about it, you've listened to it, and together you come up with the best idea. And I think that that management style, be it at our chapter level, at the office here, has been the best way to do it. You know, let people do their jobs. You know, you help them, you give them ideas, you give them the leeway to do it, and you encourage them that way. So I think those have been the biggest things I think you can tell the difference in.
Okay, question number 4. Chef Brock Brown, how do you see the Young Chefs Club and Isaiah Gerard in particular contributing to ACF's mission?
Oh my God. So that goes to membership and that goes to our young chefs. And I love that because I'm all about how we engage our young chefs, our culinarians, our future. You know, if we don't do something to support our future culinarians, you know, we become the dinosaur, we become extinct. You know, Generation X, Y, Z, all that. Everybody's different about what they have for their opinions about why is ACF important. You know, go past who is ACF, why should I join ACF? And so we have a young chef president, Isaiah, who's doing a fantastic job. You just heard me say about the stats about social media. He's all about social media. I mean, what young person isn't really? No, but if he's not afraid to be social on social media and he's posting. He's got engagement from the young chefs around the country. He is doing things that students are doing, engaging with professional members and getting mentored at the same time. He's very active, and that's just the key part, I think, of what it is we ask for our students to do, to be the best that they can be, and how we help and facilitate that and give them the platform to do it. They want mentoring, we give them mentoring. We have a program coming up this weekend with mentoring with Isaiah and myself and some others on the call. So, you know, talking to our students, listening to what they want, and give them the area, the space to do it, I think is key. I want more from our students. I want our students to be part of our convention next year more so. So if you see a speaker, I want a student to be right there with them. You know, I want them to be on stage. That was a big success in Vegas when our students were invited participate with the demonstrations. And I want more of that. I want the students to get the best experience from ACF that they can. I remember my student days, and back in the day when we were still very separated from the older members, the professionals as students. It was nerve-wracking and frightening. I don't want that experience for anybody else. I want people to think that they can talk to any professional member, myself included, and get the questions asked, get the knowledge, get the mentorship that they want and they need. And so whatever I can do to help a student out, I'm willing to do it. Bottom line.
All right, question number 5. I really enjoyed the social environment of this year's gala dinner, especially the fact that it turned into a prom-like dance party rather than stuffy speeches. Are there more plans for this type of fun interaction for National Convention?
We used to have a DJ or a band at our national conventions, and I always enjoyed it too. So I definitely will have that in New Orleans. So get your dance shoes ready. And get ready to cut that rug or that dance floor, because we will have that. It's not necessarily for younger people, because us folks dance too. I want to hear some good music and get up and work some of those calories off from that good food we just ate. So yes, expect more of that. Definitely.
All right. Question 6. Chef, at the beginning of your administration, you mentioned that you had big list companies that had committed to become ACF sponsors if we elected you as president. Can you please name the companies that have joined ACF since your presidency began?
I was in LA and we talked to, they're one of our sponsors now, Turkish Taste. They've committed to 4 years. In the midst of talking to a coffee sponsor, they want to offer certifications or a certificate program for their coffee product. The person who teaches that, who's the certified instructor, he really wants to work because he has 2 daughters, and I think they're both in culinary school. And he loves the fact that they have an example of somebody who's professional leading the way as a chef. So whatever he could do to help, he's pledged to help. Cutting prices, slashing the cost of it, making it easier and more accessible to our membership has been key. And so there are people that I'm talking to all the time who want to do more, and we're taking them up on it.
And it looks like this is the last question. How does the data from 2021 for other social media compare to previous years prior to then?
From 2021, social media numbers have done nothing, I think, but improve, especially when we were all in the house for 2 years almost, not working, not doing anything. The year over year, the stats going back to 2018, 2022 numbers are great versus 2021, and they are significantly higher. So we've done nothing but improve. It wasn't like people weren't on our platforms, but especially when people were sitting at home and they rediscovered or discovered ACF and our seminars that we're doing on a weekly or monthly basis, and that we still have up from our online learning center. We're really growing with that. That's reached a lot of people, members, prospective members, and just culinarians on the whole, because we could open up to everybody, anybody. Even when we were virtual with our national convention, we had a lot of people on there who were not ACF members, but who wanted the education part. So our social media is key and something that we will continue to do and utilize.
Chef, that is the end of the questions.
All right. So what I would like to say then is our success is really dependent upon your involvement. We at National are nothing without our local chapters. So if your local chapter is in need of help, please, we've got people around the room in this office who are here to help, who would love to help, who want you to be successful in your chapters, to grow your membership, to grow with the things that you are doing for your community service, for your fundraisers, from your networking abilities, both at the local and national level, the regional level as well. We are here to help. ACF is only as strong as our chapters are. So the future does not just happen. It's something that we create, and that future is now. This is 2022, going into 23 already. We have got to do better by our members, by our prospective members, by our organization, period. If you want to see 94 years plus more, we have got to change. You can't just pivot and do the same thing again. So I implore, I ask that you look at your membership, you look at your chapter meetings each month. What are you doing to encourage, to gain new members? What are you doing to help and mentor your younger members? How are you growing? How does your community where you are see you? Do they know who you are as ACF members? And so I just ask that you think about that. What are the core beliefs as an ACF member or you as a culinarian? What does ACF mean for you? What has it done for you? I've been called Miss ACF before, and it wasn't when I was called that, meant in a good way. I take it as a good way. I take it as a badge of honor. I'm proud to represent ACF. I'm happy to be the face of it. Are you? What do you do to represent ACF? How are you making us grow? That's the challenge from me to you for 2023. We got to grow together. So be the leader. Let's go. Be great together. Happy holidays. Have a safe and happy and prosperous New Year's. And I will see you in 2023.